Oh, okay. Yeah, he's trying to get onto that ball as well. I'm saying they should have left Sintayo because that ball was meant for Sintayo anyway. Yeah. Saladin Said is a captain, so he's been given exactly the same role that Getane Kebeda usually does have as a captain and also as the central striker. And so he's got to show some leadership. He gets onto it and bats it onto the poster. Of course. Of course, in between two defenders. A foul is executed in there, but Saladin Said suddenly bursting into the scene. In the most apt of moments, Gilbert. It's going to be a throw-in. This is Kenya and Markle to Elokadunya. Then back to Aida Sharifa. Goalkeeper again will be called in for this one. Oh, the speed of the game, you know, exciting a bit in the fact that both sides are trying to get to the goal area as quickly as they can. It's going to be a goal kick. But they're still taking a little time to settle in the game. Is David Abtamu, you know, arranging the right people on the field the right way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've decided to go for direct play, you know, really because of the surface. You don't want to make so many passes in the midfield, and therefore you want to utilize the wider areas with a lot of purpose.
He still is on the feet of Cherinet Guksa. Does well not to give it to Didier Libre. This one is onside. Again, technically put in the net. He's got to be the most technical player we've seen in the Ethiopian Premier League. In the way that he puts in his goals, doesn't work hard for them, but he works very smart for them. Mengistu Sintayo is back again on the field with a goal, much to the disappointment of Frank Natala. Well, you've got to marvel at this very tall and lanky striker who scored in every game in which he has come. He's put onside in a very good position. They totally don't give it to Liebre, who's going too far off, and they build it up. Now, Liebre is not interfering. This is put in the net.
Absolutely.
By
It's a good run by Cherinet Guksa in the midfield, and he finds the perfect moment to deliver a perfect pass for a perfect player, Sintayo Mengistu, with so much confidence, takes his spot for his 8th goal of the league.
That's a smile that says the delight with which he has approached this as well. Wolayita 1, St. George 0. A lovely goal from Mengistu Sintayo. It's just the way he moved in there, and then how he calmly slots it away from the goalkeeper. Pardon me if I'm getting very excited about goals like those ones. Here comes St. George now. Kenyan Markle trying a far shot. Been deflected and played out on the right side. Here's Biratus Fai. Good one by Junior, and then the header coming off Saladin Said is not on target. Ajay is calling his defenders for not marking correctly. But Elokadunya, for the 3rd time, lifting one that goes right onto the head of Saladin Said. He's going to look at the accuracy of his headers, because those are two, Gilbert, that he look at and wonder why he didn't put them in the net.
Yeah, they're picking him up in very, very prime positions, and it's good that he's availing himself in those positions. This is twice that he has missed a header. Maybe the 3rd or 4th one might bear some fruits for him.
Oh, you are the kind of person who believes in the rule of three. That you try something once, twice, and then the third time it works.
Absolutely.
That's how magic works as well.
Yes.
The rule of three, you know. But yeah, you could be right. I mean, if it keeps coming that way, he's going to probably just be able to put his head on the right time, in the right trajectory as well. I still can't get over the goal of Sintra Mengistu.
Apparently, he has played 756 minutes. If you divide this by 90 minutes, it means that he has played 8 matches, meaning that in every game that he has played, he has scored a goal.
Yeah, that's the average, and that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
He got off it, into an injury. It makes things a little bit difficult to the assistant coach, Dawit Aptam, who's got to now keep issuing instructions and make sure that he remains on top. That's a tall man again. He's going to go for a shot. Not on target. He doesn't get it with the right trajectory. Hits it with the top of his boot. And he's obviously trying to avoid getting injured. But look at the through ball here. And then look at where he sends the ball to. Away from the goalkeeper on the other side. He knows he can't beat him to the near post here. Sends it to the far side. He stretches the goalkeeper to the maximum.
Absolutely. And he knows it. He knows it. He starts celebrating even before the ball hits the net. He is not even struggling. He's playing as if, everything is very easy for him.
He's not breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, that's the kind of smile that you are forced to join into when you see a goal like that one. I think the other goal that you would have been forced to smile along to was Bizab Malayu's goal in yesterday's match. Yes.
Absolute cracker.
In which it took a little bit of a pause after putting the ball in the net. And that pause, I'm sure they will want to put it on posters for all to see, especially if they do win the league. Talking about fast. It's back into the midfield here. Sharefa will be pushed off the ball. It's going to be St. George realized that they are now just a good realization usually.
I'm telling you, it's not the best. I mean, coming from they've only picked 7 points out of a possible 50 with only 1 win and 4 draws. Not a good performance at all.
Well, at some point, St. George were actually contending for the 2nd position. Now they are in the 4th. 3 points will get them to 34. They might just get back to the 2nd position. And that's where we said the challenge is much bigger for the 2nd position than for any other position at the moment. And they are divided by just a point each. Ethiopia Buna with 33, Adi Osaina with 32, St. George with 31, and then Bahar Dar, of course, trying to catch up with them as well. The only thing is they've got an inferior goal aggregate. They have a +8, while St. George have a +10. That's why St. George is in the 4th position. But there's a genuinely very big challenge for the 2nd position more than anything else. And it might as well be the case because there is prize money for the 2nd position. And there's prize money for every position, depending on where you are. 1 million bir for the winners, 750 for the 2nd team, and 500 for the 3rd team. So successively, there's money there. I know you're doing your mathematics. 1 million bir, you should be talking about $30,000 US. And on the right side with Kenya and Markne. Then trying to make some space there, Dunya. Oh, gets the better of Cherinet Gugsa. Oh, something happened to Kenya and Markne so quickly there. He just went down and didn't look like he wanted to come up. And Agabadeg doesn't want to take time with that one, sends it off the field of play for a throw-in. He's gesturing to what he thinks they should have been doing, I think, earlier on in scoring.
That's water under the bridge. And until maybe at water break when you can be able to tell him to use the dark part.
But he should have done that at training, Gilbert.
That's what I'm saying.
That should be done at training. It is Cherinet Gugsa. Going to bring it to Sintayehu, who unselfishly sets it up for a shot. Comes from the midfield, not very well taken by Abebayehu Ajiso. It bounced and stopped right in front of him.
That's actually Berket Walde, the little man.
In jersey 10?
Yes. Jersey 20.
Oh, it's jersey 20 is better holder for sure.
Yes, yes. Sintanyehu is in jersey 10.
Of course, and there are a difference. I mean, that's the tallest player on the field. It can't be the shortest player. I didn't say Sintanyehu. I said Ajiso.
Ajiso is jersey 19.
Yeah, he's a Betbayehu. You must make a distinction between a Betbayehu and Sintanyehu. They're two different players. This is a foul here, but also enhanced by the fact that there's a slip on the ball in the slippery conditions. There's medical attention that has to be given on Didier Liebre. Feeling a little bit of pinch there as well. Didier, he will be getting some medical attention. The conditions not very, very nice, especially for the man from Cote d'Ivoire. That's exactly where the pain is being pinpointed. It'll be stretched off the field of play. He's got 67% accuracy in terms of his passes, and he's now playing his second game. Played the first game after coming in, and then was benched for the second one. Well, for the Wolayita Dicha side, he's got to give a little bit of more. He's got to give more contribution on the side. We'll come back onto the left side here for the St. George side. Little touch then is a good one for Frimpong Mensah, who's overlapping this time round. Tries to catch his compatriot goalkeeper in the off his line, but it goes too directly. An easy take here. Barakat Walde, one of the men who's always supplying it forward for Sintanyehu and gets to. Well, the two men then not in good communication. Haida Shirefa has got it on the outside. Worked so hard, he brings it to Emmanuel Gabriel Michael. Looks for a position to shoot from directly. Ajayi will pick it up. That will put pay to that little effort that Haida Shirefa initiated in the midfield.
Yeah, that's a good run by, that's a good take by Emmanuel Gabriel Michael. But again, you cannot hit the ball right where the goalkeeper is standing. You should have looked for the far post.
It might just have a chance to redo it. Yeah, Leo bringing it to the right side. Kenyan Marklet. Oh, just managed to send it back to Enoch Adunya. Dunya's back on the right side, looking for the best place to be able to put the ball through. It does for Kenyan Marklet. Marklet, I think, was looking for the perfect chance to be able to shoot. Doesn't get it. This will be picked up by Ajayi. Something about just taking a shot from the box, Gilbert, that is still evading the St. George side in today's game.
They're in a rush. They're in a rush.
Well, then they should shoot it quickly. I mean, I think that's what the coach is wondering about as well.
It all needs about its composure in the box, and you pick the right moment to be able to take that shot. But when you're in a rush, you'll always make mistakes when you're not supposed to be.
Kenyan Marklet certainly didn't. Here is Cherinet Guksa. Just goes down on the left side and then brings it on his right foot. A clever way to be able to go down that side. Cherinet has got 3 goals to his credit and is just trying to find another one. Was also trying to be provider for Sintanyehu Mengistu. It's usually a very clever run when you make it down there on your right foot. Everybody expecting the cross to come in on the left foot. Didier is back into the game now. The man from Cote d'Ivoire signed to help Wolayita remain in a good position. Just going to go into the midfield, and then Katuch Panom latches onto it. He's go to Cherinet Guksa. Looking for a switch play onto the right side. It's not a very good side to work on, Gilbert, but at least they switch the play knowing there's less men there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the go-to man has been Cherinet Guksa. I like his acceleration. When, he pretends as if he wants to stop, and by the time the defender stops, that is the time he's accelerating, and he's been very, very prime for Wolayita on the left-hand side of the attack.
Brought in a very good 45 at that moment. Will be out on the right side. And a push right into the midfield. Put it back by Degu de Bebe. Dunya. Down onto the right side. You will wish there was more water, even just for bathing. But look at actually that brings it onto his right boot. Was timing Sintayo Mengistu.
Yeah, that acceleration by him on the left-hand side, he takes off, and Adunya cannot be able to meet him, and that's a good pass. Only that the goalkeeper was right at that spot to get that ball into his arms.
So what instructions do you think they're getting now in the water break?
Well, I think it's inside has failed to connect properly, and twice again, Markin and Emmanuel Gilbert-Michael.
What about the Wolayita side?
At the defense side, and they're defending very, very well. 75% for Wolayita in the middle, and very little happening on the right-hand side where Libre is actually playing his trade.
It's not very little. Zero is not very little. Zero means
it's
nothing
completely
is
nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening on that side.
Yeah, so
but they've scored actually through the center. You notice that even the percentage of the attacks that are coming on the St. George side is less, but a goal has been scored with that quality attack that came on that side. It was a very good pick by Cherinet Guksa, who then puts through Sintayo Mengistu after watching him and escorting him forward. But it was an even better kind of cutback by the Sintayo Mengistu on the other side. I don't think the coach was clapping for that. Absolutely not. I think he was just leaving on the fact that they had been beaten at that time. This man Sintayo has put the ball in the net.
I think when you have a player of Cherinet quality, a player who is very creative, because he decided to pick, take matters in his own hands and pick the first player, the second one, and then give a correct pass. That was very, very nice for him.
Frank Natal was trying to inspire his men to go back into defense, knowing that they are already one goal down. It's going into defense, knowing that.
But have you ever realized that when you score a good goal, even the opponents will clap for you?
Well, I'm just saying that he was inspiring his men. He was not clapping for them at all. It's going to go on to the right side now. Well, the clearance, not well done. This was directed. I thought it was going to hit the net here, but it takes a side netting. The best delivery coming from the right side with intention of actually putting it in the net. And the Abel Yaleo cross had been given to Gabriel Michael. He had calculated it, tried to put the power in it, and then the accuracy just left him at the last minute.
This is where you ask a player to be a little bit more selfish, because Saladin was already in the box.
Yeah,
and in this muddy areas, you should take a shot and go for the rebound.
I think the shot was good enough. I mean, Saladin didn't do the wrong thing. He did the right thing to take the ball onto the right side. It's just that he didn't go into the net. There's some that miss,
the angles are cute.
Some that go in. So this happens a lot. It's a big run by Libre. Being marked tightly by Frimpong Mensu. Aida Sharifa sends it back onto the place where they had some very good build-up. But well, Gabriel Michael wants to veer off back onto the right side. Adunya. Aida Sharifa. And then Kenyan Martin. But he's not getting a very good he's not getting a very good grip of the game because of the slippery conditions. Likes to play very technical, very stealthily as well. Looks deceptively slow. That's Kenyan. Sometimes it's becoming very difficult for him to even move up at the front. So he needs the spaces to be able to play. And he would have been doing a much better job if they were playing on the side that has a better playing surface. But that can only come to them in the second half. The passes completed by St. George are almost doubling what has been done by the Wolayita Dicha side. The accuracy. is still better for the St. George side than Wolayita. This is headed out. Worried about Degu Debebe. That's the second time he's coming down like that from an attempt at a clearance.
Yeah, that was poor landing. It's very, very poor landing.
He's exerting himself too hard as well in the defense. Good ball through for Libre. He'll not get onto it. This is going to be a kick that will be taken by the goalkeeper, Baru Negash. In comparison to what has come to Ajay, there's a lot more that has come to Daniel Ajay than has come to Baru Negash. The only surprising is that the little that has come to Baru Negash has actually resulted into a goal in favor of the Wolayita Dicha side. And a foul on Cherinet Gugsa. Emmanuel Gabriel Mikhail. Well, I think he just clipped Gugsa at the back, and then Haida Sharif, of course, stands in his way, forming a little bit of a block there. And Emmanuel is right in actually appealing and asking, what did I do wrong? But Haida Sharif was standing in there. Cherinet is probably going to be feeling double pain from the clipping of the ankle behind and then banging on to Haida Sharifa. But that man is needed very much by the Wolayita side.
Absolutely, he's a highly technical player, and just his runs from the left hand side, cutting towards the inside, and getting Mengistu in prime positions. You didn't want to lose a player of that caliber.
They see it again. The ankle clipped, and then the banging on to the Haida Sharifa. Well, needs to recuperate a bit here. He's bent double by the time he's going off the field of play. Frank Natal is still trying to map up a strategy of what they're going to be doing, and I think he's in constant chat with Zerihun Chegeta, the assistant coach of the St. George side. It's going to be a free kick that will be given to the Wolayita Dicha side. Sintayehu will always win the aerial balls when he goes for them. This is just sent out for a cautionary measure by Bintesi Dodadane, knowing very well that he's all alone there, and there is a very dangerous Sintayehu approaching as well. So it sends it out for a throw-in to allow Frimpong Mbensu to come into his correct position in defense. Going to come from the right side of the attack for Dicha. This is out, and going to be a throw-in back to the St. George side. Martin is still not yet fitting perfectly into the game today. Given a very good pass, but it didn't go to the intended. Gabriel Mikhail is trying to get the ball forward to Salahuddin Said. And Agarbadek intercepts it. Finding space to run up at the front. He can't get Cherinet to run as quickly as he would like to, because Cherinet has just come back into the field of play. And I think he's still trying to recover. It's good control back to Panom Gatoch. St. George with 55% goal percentage position. Lever in the offside position, looking surprised at that decision. He was miles away by the time the ball was coming to him.
He was. Although his first touch was good, but he was in no man's land.
Good run down on the right side, but cut off by Mintesi. By Degu Debebe, I beg your pardon. Going back into the midfield. Abebayehu Ajis. So. The quick recovery of and Tenegugsa helps the field and helps the ball. forward. Back pass would have been a little bit of a disaster.
I think they have decided that it's better to use the wider areas because then the ball is moving in the right direction, unlike when you play the ball. Through the center.
And nobody allowed, doesn't have a touch on that ball. It's going to be... penalized for a foul. Goes up as well. Goes down rather as well. Looks as trying to run rings in there, brings it back. Panam get touch. Just dummies, tries to get it back to Wole. Now they want to build it from the left side. A long ball, this one. Just down by the goalkeeper, Barunegash. It has come from the right side. Gets a return ball. And they change the wing onto the left side.
For better results.
Abeliano again blocked off by David. He needs a little help to get back onto his feet. They're making a substitution, the Wolayita Dicha side, quite early. And Bebayehu Ajiso has been substituted. His place taken by Netsanet Gebremedin. What do you make of that, Gilbert?
Yeah, Netsanet actually played in last match. He's an attacking midfielder. I think they've realized that they can even score more goals in this one. So they bring in a more reliable midfielder in Netsanet.
Yeah, he played 77 minutes against the last time when he played only 77 minutes. Well, let me not say only, because that was literally the entire game of it. He comes in with just about 4 minutes of time remaining in regular time. Abelialeo. And brings it back to Asbida Tesfaye. But Adani, I think the muddy patch that he has played in has really bogged him down. So much so that he was not very sure of every time he's giving the feed back to his goalkeeper, to the other defenders. Here is Enoch Adunya, pushing it too far. Egudebebe just easily gets onto it and tries to cut it out. Haida Sherefa, Adunya's back on it now on the right side. Brings it to Haida Sharifa. And it's lifted. Kenyan Markner tries to go for it. Takes off a little bit late. He doesn't get to it. And for Kenyan Markner, certainly he's got the right intentions, Gilbert, but the mud is bogging him down.
It has really bogged him down, and also he's being marked by another very tall player in Panon Gatoch, not giving him time and space to be able at least to operate the way he's normally operating when it's the weather is a little bit better.
It's going out for a throw-in. It's going to be for the St. George side. They are looking for avenues to use. They've tried the power play and the push. Abelialo with a little good touch here. Looked like it was going to come all the way back to Saladin Said, but it doesn't. And the honest truth is, Gilbert, they are frustrated up at the front.
They're very, very frustrated. And Bernard, I can tell you that St. George have been very predictable in their movements because most of the attacks are coming from the right-hand side. And Wolayita has realized that. So they are loading most of their players on the side where the ball is and making it very difficult for St. George to have any penetration passes.
Yeah, that's very well pointed out. There's a good reason why they've gone onto the right side. That's the only place they've got a better playing surface from. And even the left is not as good as the right, and so they've opted to use that a lot. They may just have a better chance when they come in the second half because the advantage will probably shift onto the other side for them. Haida Sharifa taking it down to the right side, looking for Emmanuel Gabriel Mikael. But on the Galbadeg is keeping close watch of that. It'll be a throw-in. Dunya back into the midfield. He tries to get it back on the right side. He doesn't. Yeah, but we've got 1.5 minutes. You could call it 1 minute in regular time. How would you analyze this one?
Well, I've already called them to St. George as a very predictable team in the first half. Wolayita, I think they came up with a strategy, defending in numbers and hitting the ball on the counter. And I think they've been very good managers in this particular game. They've managed the possession and the pitch, and they are not in a hurry, especially when they're in possession of the ball. Just waiting for the right moments to get a good pass.
Down on the right side, Kenyan trying to break through. Oh yeah, you're talking about predictability. I think Kenyan is the hallmark of that predictability today, just because the muddy conditions of the field have lessened his contribution to the team. We've played the 45 minutes. I think there's going to be a minute or two added onto this because there wasn't much stoppage, and it's part of the fact that the mud has made it a little bit of a scrappy game. And there's going to be a foul. And as much as Adunya was trying to take a piggy ride on the back of Stinto Yehu, Yehu is also built to have been marked. So a throw-in. We'll play 2 minutes of added time then. A change onto the left side to Frimpong. Oh, very well taken. This one by Libera. He's got Frimpong coming close to him. He's waiting and then goes for the shot that forces Barunegash to pull a save. And a second one that comes from the right side that is scrapes off the ground. Oh, the intended return ball to try and make things more difficult by Libera. It doesn't work out. Can St. George use this very last minute kind of chance to be able to try and come back into the game? Well, only if they try to use it as fast as they could. Oh, the attempt is to try and get it back to Kenyan Markner, and he doesn't get there. Mensu Frimpong try to keep it in play. It's just a little bit too difficult an angle for him. I don't think we're going to have much time to play in this half. Any moment now, the whistle will be going for half time. They will have to regroup, re-strategize, and reorganize their teams to come back into the game again in the second half. Well, they did try to get a shot from the right side, but it was blocked off by Barunegash. Haida Sharifa has picked it up. Gatoch is going to be penalized for that tackle. He's being told to categorically.
It's unnecessary.
Well, because it's just not being remorseful. There was no card that was going to come out there, but he says something to the referee. And then that now occasions the yellow card. But totally unnecessary. I agree with you as well. But it's the third yellow card that Gachoj Farab is picking up now. He didn't need to say anything. I mean, he had already been cautioned verbally. It's the very last minute of the game as well. So now he's going to go into it with a yellow card as well. But I'm like the same as refed it very well as well. They came down to the right side after Liebra's shot and then got to the goalkeeper, but scraps it with his right foot. His right hand also going into position, stopping Walder's shot from going anywhere close to troubling him. And that would have been the only one that would have changed this.
መንግስቱ ከቦክስ ውጭ ባስቆጠራት ኳስ ነው እንግዲህ አንድ ለዜሮ ጨዋታው የተጠናቀቀ። የመጀመሪያው ግማሽ 45 ደቂቃ ጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴ ምን ነበር የሚለውን እንግዲህ ወደ እናንተ የምናደርስ ይሆናል። አብራችሁን ቆይታ እንድታደርጉ ከወዲሁ እንጋብዛችኋለን ተመልካቾቻችን። ዮናስ አዘዘና መኳንንት በርሄ ነን። የመጀመሪያው ግማሽ 45 ደቂቃ ጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴ በዚህ ጥያቄ ነው የሚጀምረው። ዮናስ ሜዳው ቡድኖችን እጅግ በጣም የሚፈትን ሜዳ የሆነ መጥቷል የመጨረሻዎቹ ቀናቶች።
በተለይ በዛሬው የመጀመሪያው አጋማሽ ለቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ፈታኝ ሆኖ አግኝቼዋለሁ። ወላይታ ዲቻ የሜዳውንም የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስን ማጫወት ታሳቢ ያደረገ ስትራቴጂ ነው የገባው። በ4-5-1 ፎርሜሽን በጥልቀት በመከላከል በጣም መልሶ ማጥቃቶችን በማከናወን ነው በአብዛኛው አደጋ ሲፈጥር የነበረውና ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በአንጻሩ አማካይ ክፍል ላይ አይደር ሸረፋ ያብስራ እንደዚሁ ከና ማርክና አሉ። ለዚህ ለነዚህ ተጫዋቾች አብዛኛውን የኳስ ቁጥጥር ድርሻ ትተው ወላይታ ዲቻዎች በራሳቸው ሜዳ በመጠበቅ ፓሶቹ ሜዳው አመቺ ስላሉና እስከ ፋይናል ስር እንደማይደርሱ ያውቃሉና ያን ኳስ የትበሉ ረጃጅም ኳስ ለዲዲ ሊብሪ ለስንታየው እንደዚሁም ደግሞ በግራ መስመር ለቸርነ ጉግሳ ይላካልና የወላይታ ወላይታ ዲቻ በጣም ግልጽና በጣም ለሜዳው የሚመጥን አቀራረብ ነው በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በኩል ግን አብዛኛው ኳስ ቁጥጥሩን ድርሻ ስለወሰዱ የተቸገሩ ይመስለኛል ፋይናል ሰርድ ላይ ለመድረስ አብዛኛው ኳሶች ከቀኝ መስመር ክሮስ
አሰልጣኝ ፍራንክ ነተል እዚህ ተች ላይ ሆነው የሚሆነው ሪአክሽን በደንብ ያን የሚገልጥ ይመስለኛል እስኪ ደረጃውን ስንመለከተው አሁን ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ አስፈላጊውን ጨዋታ እንግዲህ ነጥብ የወሰደበት አይደለ ወላይታ ዲቻ ግን ወደ ስድስተኛነት መጣው
ባለፈው ባባጅፋር ጨዋታ ነጥብ ጥሏል ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ እና ያን ነጥብ መጣል ተከትሎ ባህር ዳር ሀዲያ ሆሳዕና አድቫንቴጁን አልተጠቀሙም ስለዚህ ዛሬ ደግሞ ሌላ እድል አግኝቷል ጊዮርጊስ ይሄን እድል ማባከን የለበትም ጎል አስተናግዷል አሁን ያሉበት ሁኔታ አሁን ካነሳነው ነጥብ አንፃር በጣም አስቸጋሪ ይመስላል
እስኪ በመጀመሪያ የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ የነበሩ የጎል ሙከራዎች ሃይላይቶችን እስኪ እንመልከት ሰላዲን ሰይድ ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ ቋሚ ሆኖ የተሰለፈበት ጨዋታ ነው እየተመለከተን ያለ ነው ወደ ጌሙ ፈጥሮ የገባበትንም ሙከራ ለማድረግ ችሏል
ቆንጆ ኳስ ነው ከቀኝ መስመር ሄኖክ ያሻመው ሰላዲን ሰይድ የተለመደው 9 ቁጥር ሊቆምበት የሚገባ ጥሩ ቦታ ላይ አቋቋም ላይ የነበረው ኳሱን ታይሚንጉን ጠብቆ ዘሎን የገጨው ምናልባት ጎል ካለመቆጠሩ ሰላዲን ሰይድ በዚህ እንቅስቃሴ ከዚህ በላይ ምን ሊያደርግ እንደሚችል አላውቅም በጣም ጥሩ ክሮስ ነበር ያገኘው አብዛኛው ከቀኝ ነው የሚነሱት የጊዮርጊስ ማጥቃቶች ከቀኝ መስመር የሚነሱ ክሮሶች ከግራ መስመር አንዴ ፍሪምፖንግ ሄዶ ክሮስ ያደረገው አብዛኛው ተገማች ሆነ ማጥቃት ነውና በዚህ እንቅስቃሴ ሁለት ድሎች አግኝቶ ነበር ሰላዲን ሰይድ
ይሄኛው ሁለተኛው ሙከራ እንግዲህ ሰላዲን የምንመለከትበት ነው ተመሳሳይ የሆነ እንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ ነው
አሁንም በዚህ በቀኝ መስመር ማጥቃት ሄኖክ ነው ክሮስ ያደረገው ከመጀመሪያ ኳስ ይበልጥ ለኔ እንኳንስ ይሄኛው ለሳላዲን ጎል ለማስቆጠር ቅርብ ይመስለኛል ምክንያቱም ኳሱን በጭንቅላቱ ቢነካው ኖሮ ኳሱ ከተመረብ ውስጥ ነበር የሚያርፉና በትከሻው ያገኘው ይመስለኛልና በጭንቅላቱ
ፊት አንተ ነህ ሸፍኖታል
በጭንቅላቱ ብቻ መንካት የሚፈልግ ይመስለኛል ኳሱና በጣም ጥሩ ድል ነበር ያገኘው ሰላዲን ሰይድ በሁለቱ አጋጣሚዎች ለጊዮርጊስ እድለኛ አይደለም
የጨዋታውን እንቅስቃሴ ከቀየሩ አጋጣሚዎች መካከል እንግዲህ ዋነኛው የምንለው ጎሉ ነው ጎሉ የተቆጠረበት መንገድ የስንታየው መንግስቱን የዘንድሮ የውድድር ዓመት ጉዞ በደንብ የሚያሳይ ይመስለኛል በፕሪሚየር ሊግ ውስጥ ሪቨሌሽን የምንላቸው አይነት ተጫዋቾች ውስጥ አንዱ ነው
ይሄ አጥቂ ጎል ማስቆጠር ብቻ አይደለም ስራው አሁን ስትመለከት የማጥቃቱ መነሻ ነው ሊንክ አፕ ሊው በጣም ጥሩ ነው ቸርነት ጉግሳ ስንታየው እስኪመጣ ድረስ ጠብቆት በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ሶስት ተከላካዮች ማለት ሲሮጥ ጊዜውን የጠበቀ ፓስ ያደርግለትና የእንቅስቃሴው መጀመሪያ ሊንክ አፕ ሊውን ተመልከተው ስንታየው ከዛ በኋላ ብሩክ ማነው ሀብታሙ ኳሱን እናገኛለን ቸርነት ጊዜውን የጠበቀ ፓስ ስሩ ጎል ከዛ በኋላ ስንታየው ሌላውን ስራ ነው የሰራው ምናልባት ባህሩ ነገር እዚህ ላይ ምንም ሊያደርግ አይችልም የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ መከላከል ኦርጋናይዜሽን እዚህ ጋር በጣም ደካማ ነው እንግዲህ ጊዮርጊስ በመከላከል ኦርጋናይዜሽን በሊጉ ቀዳሚ ከሚባሉ ቡድኖች አንደኛው ነው አሁን ዛሬ ግን በዚህ ሲዝን እየተመለከትን ያለ ነው ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ የመከላከል ኦርጋናይዜሽኑ በጣም ደካማ ነበር
ለበርካታ ጨዋታዎች አብሮ የተሰለፉ የተከላካይ መስመር ተጫዋቾችን አፍርሰ ሌላ ተከላካይ ጨምረን ነው ዛሬ የተጫወት ያለውና ያ ተጽዕኖ በዛሬው ጨዋታ ላይ በትንሹ የታየ ይመስለኛል
በአጠቃላይ በሲዝኑ የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ የመከላከል ኦርጋናይዜሽን ጥያቄ የሚያስነሳ
በሌላኛው የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ የነበረ አንድ ተጫዋችን የተሻለ ነገር ለመስራት ይሞክራል ቸርነት ጉግሳ አሁንም በፕሪሚየር ሊግ ውስጥ በጣም ድንቅ የሆነ ጊዜ እያሳለፈ ነው ያለው
የወላይታ ዲቻ መቆጣጠር አለበት ቸርነትን ካልተቆጣጠር ወላይታ ዲቻ መቆጣጠር አይችልም በተደጋጋሚ ቸርነት ጉግሳን ከሄኖክ ጋር አንድ ላንድ አይተናቸዋል ሄኖክ በጣም ቸግሯል በቸርነት ጉግሳ እንደውም የደስታ ደግሞ ገዛው ያስፈልገው ሄኖክና ተደጋጋሚ ድሪብሎች ሩጫዎች ያደርጋል እጅግ በጣም ጥሩ ኳሊቲ ያለው ተጫዋች እንደሆነ ያያየ ነውና በጣም ፈታኝ የሆነ ተጫዋች ነውና እርግጠኛ አሰልጣኝ ፍራንክ ኑታል የዚህን ተጫዋች እንቅስቃሴ ተቆጣጠሩ ምትዛዝ ሳያስተላልፍ ይቀርባል መሰለኝ ግን በሄኖክ ብቻ ሳይሆን በደስታ ደግሞ እየታገዘ ይሄን ማቆም አልቻለም ከመስመር ብቻ አይደለም የሚነሳው ከአጥቂ ጀርባ የሚገኝበት ኳሊቲ የሚከረው በጣም ታስታውስ እንደሆነ ከአንድ ጨዋታ ፊት ከሳጥን ውጭ ያስቆጠራት ድንቅ ጎልና በመስመሮች ማለም የመገኘት ኳሊቲ ያለውና ቸርነት ጉግሳ
በፕሪሚየር ሊጉ እንግዲህ ጥሩ ጉዞ እያደረጉ የሚገኙ የወላይታ ዲቻ ተጫዋቾች አሉ ምረጥ ብለህ የትኛው ትመርጣለህ ቸርነት ጉግሳ ስንታየው መንግስቱ
ወላይታ ዲቻ በበርጠኔ በአንድ በግል የተጫዋች በአንድ ቡድን ጥገኛ አይመስለኝም እንደ ቡድን አሁን በጣም ኦርጋናይዝድ የሆነ ቡድን ነው ግን እዚህ ቡድን ግን ጎልቶ የወጡ ተጫዋቾች አሉ ቸርነት ጉግሳ ስንታየው 9 ጨዋታ አልተጫወተም 9 ጨዋታ ሳይጫወት ነው ግልጽኛ ጎል ያስቆጠረው በጣም ጥሩ ሁለቱ የወላይታ ዲቻ የዚህ ሲዝን ቤስት ተጫዋቾች ናቸው
ወደ ሌሎች የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴዎች ደግሞ እንሂድ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ወደ ጨዋታ ሊመለስበት የሚችልባቸውን አጋጣሚዎች እየፈጠረ ነው ወይ እስኪ ይሄ እንቅስቃሴ ነው
አቤል ያለው መጀመሪያ በቀኝ መስመር ነበር የጨዋታ የሚገኘው በግራ መስመር ሄደ ፍሪምፖንግ ኦቨርላፕ አድርጎ ሊመጣ ሙከራ አድርጎ ነበር ግን አቤል ኳሱ ክሮስ ለማድረግ ነው የፈለገው ጭቃው ለወላይታ ዲቻዎች መከላከል አስቸጋሪ አድርጎ ነበር አቤል ጥሩ ኳስ ነበር ያገኘው አማኑኤል ይቅርታ ግን ጎል ለማስቆጠር ፖዚሽኑ አስቸጋሪ ይመስለኛል መኳንንት ምክንያቱም አንግሉ የጠበበ ነው በዛ ላይ በርካታ ያሉ የዲቻ ተጫዋቾች ለማቀበል እንኳን እንዳይወስን በርካታ ያሉ የዲቻ ተጫዋቾች መከላከል ውስጥ አሉና ለቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ጎል ለማስቆጠር በጣም አስቸጋሪ ሲቹዌሽን የሆነ ይመስለኛል ያው
የዘንድሮ የውድድር ዓመት ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በጣም ጥሩ ከሚባሉ ተጫዋቾች መካከል አንዱ ባህሩ ነጋሽ ነው። ባህሩ ነጋሽ ከታች ጀምሮ ያደገ ተጫዋች ነው። ዘንድሮ የፓትሪክ ማትሳትስን ቦታ ከተካ በኋላ በጣም ትክክለኛው ለቦታው የተመረጠ ሰው መሆኑን እያሳየ ነው። ዛሬም ይሄን አይተናል።
ባህሩ ነጋሽ ቦታውን ከተረከበ በኋላ ከለዓለም ወደ ኋላ አልተመለከተም። በጣም በድንቅ ብቃት ላይ የሚገኝ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ለ50 ለ60 ዓመታት የግብ ጠባቂ ችግር የነበረበት ቲም አልነበረም። ጌታቸው ዱላ፣ ደሳለኝ እያልክ ብዙ ታዲዮስ ብዙ እስከ ውጭ ግብ ጠባቂዎች መጥራት ይችላል እና ዘንድሮ ነበር። በመጨረሻ ግን መፍትሄ ያገኘ ይመስለኛል። ይሄ መፍትሄ ባህሩ ነጋሽ ነውና ባህሩ ነጋሽ የባህሩ ነጋሽ ኳሊቲ ባይሆን ኖሮ መኳንንት 2-0 ወላይታ ዲቻ ረፍት ይወጣ ነበርና እድሜ ለባህሩ ነጋሽ ማለት ይገባዋል ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ።
እንግዲህ በጨዋታ ውስጥ የተፈጠሩትን የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴዎች ወይም ደግሞ ቤስ ሞመንቶች ነው የተመለከተው። እነኚህ ሃይላይቶች ጨዋታውን እንግዲህ ምን ያክል ይገልጹታል የሚለው ያው ተመልካቾች
ወተለደ በተቃራኒ ሜዳ ግን አታኪንግ ሰርድ ላይ ውድድሮችን ለመፍጠር አማካዮቹ በጣም ተቸግረዋል እና አማካዮቹ ኢነርጂ በጣም ያቷል። ጋቶች ፓኖም ዛሬ ሰሞኑን ወላይታ ዲቻ 10 ቁጥር ሚላን ብሩላ ሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ምናልባት እንግዲህ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ውጤት መቀየር የሚችሉ ተጫዋቾችን ቀይሮ ሊያስገባ የሚችልበት እድል አለ። የአብስራ ሙልጌታ አቤል እንዳለ ከዚህም በተጨማሪ ደግሞ እንደነ ናትናኤል ዘለቀን የመሳሰሉ አማካይ ለኢነርጂ ቡድኑ ይፈልጋል እያልኩ ነበር። ይሄንን የሚያደርጉ ተጫዋቾች አሉ። ወላይታ ዲቻ አሁን ባለው የቡድኑ ፐርፎርማንስ አሰልጣኙ ደስተኛ ይመስሉኛል። በኋላ ላይ የደከሙ እግሮች ካሉ ይቀይራሉ። አንድ ቅያሪ አድርጓል። ታክቲካል ቅያሪ አበባው በመከላከል ያሳየው ድክመት እንዲቀየር አድርጎታል።
እናያለን። ተመልካቾቻችን ሁለተኛውን ግማሽ ጨዋታ እንድትከታተሉ ከወዲሁ ጋብዛችኋለን። ሁለት አማራጮች አሉ። በአማርኛ የጨዋታ የቀጥታ ስርጭት ዮናስ አዘዘና ማርቆስ ኤልያስ፣ በእንግሊዝኛ የጨዋታ የቀጥታ ስርጭት በርናንዶ ቲኖና ጊልበርት ሰባ ይጠብቋችኋል። ጥሩ ጊዜ ሁላችሁ ተመልካቾቻችን።
Well, the march to second position is proving to be a jinx, with Hawassa not being able to get the required results. Bahadar also failing to get the required results. Hadia also failing to get the required results. And as we speak, Wolayita Dicha leading St. George by 1-0. Is it going to continue like this? St. George have failed to permeate the Wolayita Dicha side, especially on the left-hand side, which has been very, very quiet as compared to the right-hand side that they've used most of the time. Wolayita Dicha waiting for the right moment to be able at least to permeate through a counter-attack. Are they going to use the same tact in the second half? Join us in the commentary, English commentary, Bernardo Tieno, and you can call me Gilbert Celebo as your analyst this afternoon.
Oh, thank you very much, Gilbert. As we get into another very muddy second half of the game here, I think the discussion at halftime would have been centered on just how difficult it is to play on the surface, and so that they can make the better of it, and also just what attack they should be using, especially to try and get the goals in this one. For St. George now, they're going to have the better side to be able to strike from, but not from the center. They'll have to build it again from the wing, so maybe now the side of the pitch will favor them. For Wolayita Dicha, it's going to be more difficult to go through that middle, because the balls will take an unnatural bounce, and the balls will obviously also slow down sometimes quite unexpectedly. So with that in question, then we wait to see how it's going to pan out, with St. George having gotten a running chance in the very first few minutes of the game. But Wolayita Dicha, who made a quick change in the 40th minute, bringing out Abeba Yehu, will be having at least one freshman onto the field of play to be able to work with. Kenyan Markner will just have to know now how to get either the feed from the midfield or be the one who's on the receiving end of the feed. But St. George are already exploring what angles they're going to be using in this one. So the ball will move slightly faster on this side of the field, because when it bounces on the grass, it goes fast. But when it bounces in the middle, it's going to bounce and stay where it is, not going too far off. Very good example of that in that controlled by Haida Shirefa. You might not be able to recognize Emmanuel Gabriel Michael very well. He came in a red jersey, but now it's looking like it's brown altogether, because he fell some time into the mud, and even his jersey number is not very visible. He tries to bring the ball onto the right side, but puts too much pressure on it, so much that Emmanuel Ndale doesn't get onto it. Again, Ajay, the goalkeeper on the Wolayita Dicha side, is the one who takes it. The scoreline is still in favor of the Wolayita Dicha side, 1-0. A goal scored in the 50th minute by Mengistu Sintayehu, very technically sending the ball far away from the goalkeeper, much in the same fashion that he has scored most of the goals that he has put in the net. And he's got 7 of them so far in his credit. And in one game, he's got 2 in the same sequence. One from the right, one from the left. Now, that is what they're going to have to watch out for. The ball bouncing and staying where it is. It's just that Didier Liber did not get onto it. And Agabadeg will get it back from Cherinet Gupsa. And Kenyan Markner picks it up, goes for a very quick shot. It's deflected back into possession for Wolayita Dicha. So they're realizing that they've got the better side of the field, and that if they work hard enough, they might just be changing this anytime soon, the St. George side.
Absolutely, Bernard. And I'm hoping that while they're loading on the right-hand side, there is always a blank area on the left-hand side of the attack. So a quick switch for them anytime that they move into a crowded area would be very, very beneficial to St. George in the second half.
Oh, this one goes off the field of play. Mr. Natal's face is not as well lit as it was before. He's watching this very intently, thinking about how the second half should be working in his favor and whether it will work in his favor. Good run by Cherinet Gupsa. Running off Enoka Dunya. It's going to be a restart on this other side. They are appealing for a penalty there. Everybody else was on their feet for that appeal.
That's a penalty.
Referee says it's a corner. Why do you say it's a penalty?
Look at the right foot, the left foot of
there is no, that's minimal contact, Gilbert. That's minimal contact there. It's not on the ball, it's not on anything.
That is what is called dogso, Gilbert. Denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. There's no obvious goal scoring opportunity there. Oh, no. There's no penalty there at all. It's just a normal touch of feet. Just a normal, minimal contact. I think that's a very good decision by Bemlak, the referee. It's not a penalty, in my opinion, there. Just the fact that everybody shouts about a penalty doesn't mean it is a penalty. We know a lot of that happens in the Ethiopian Premier League, where all the players even stop playing instead of following an opportunity that could have been changed into a score is, let off, and everybody that appeals for a penalty instead. This is going to be a corner for the Wolayita Dicha side. Which is coming from the left side of the attack. The header was intended by the captain. Very good, baby, but he doesn't get it accurately, although he'll get another corner in the process of it. Well, they don't seem to be in a hurry. They're going to wait for Anagao to come and take it for them, while Degu Debebe rushes back into his position just to make sure that he doesn't get caught. It's going to be a throw-in. I beg your pardon. It's going to be a throw-in, while he rushes to make sure that no mistakes are made on that side. Chip back in the center. That's one of the most difficult areas to play on. Kenyan Markne just muscled off the ball by a touch Pano. Walden now brings it back to get touch on the right side. Rimpong Menso then cutting it out on the left side. And brings it back to the center. So it's a push then to try and get a better position. Yes, we don't testify. Either Sherifa. It's got the energy to still push through in the midfield. And then Abel Yoleo. It's the George side taking their time. I think Manuel Gabriel Mikael had asked for it. So Frimpong then rolls onto that left side. It's cut out by Degu Debebe. But you can even hear the intensity of it in terms of the hard shot that came from Frimpong Mensu.
Yes, power. It's power. Those kind of balls, you hit them hard right in between the goalkeeper and his defenders. It could either be the defender putting the ball in the net or a striker, oncoming striker.
We'll get another corner there. They're troubled. And looking like it's going to be carving on the right foot. Well, they go for a very short one. And then Cherinet Guksak brings it out into Yehu. Dummies it away from Haida Sherifa. And on the other side again, as Bidatis Fire dummies it. Gabriel Mikael. It's just a spirited delivery up at the front to try and make things more difficult for the Wolayita Dicha side by the St. George side. Now bring it back to their own side. They have to build it from there as well. It's pretty obvious they're looking for a through ball every time they're coming onto it. Kenyan Markne has probably been the one for whom the field has not worked very well. His pushes on the ball, sometimes falling short of getting to who they are intended. Bebe again. And Walde gets it from Gatuch Panom. That's the new substitute, pushing it forward. Netson at Gabriel is the man. So it's going to be who gets the better of the other in the midfield. They're waiting to see who loses concentration. Then they can take off with it from the center. St. George is doing that very well. Wolayita is still trying to do that as well. Cherinet will help this one up at the front, but St. George are playing in the Wolayita Dicha half. They're pushing for an equalizer. Again, Gabriel Mikael doesn't get his head onto that ball. Ajay will send it out in a cautionary measure. I think it's a good decision that he makes there, Gilbert.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was an advancing striker just right close to him, and it's better you play the ball and you reorganize defensively.
Aida Sherifa to Gabriel Mikael.
That's normal body contact on football. That will not give you a foul for anything. I mean, it's just normal. I mean, that's a challenge for a 50-50 ball. I think it's the same kind of challenge that we had here with Trinidad Guksa running. He's inside the box, yes, but that touch does not warrant a penalty at all, Gilbert. Here it is again, in a very close angle. What is your claim for a penalty on that?
The touch by Enoka Dunya.
In fact,
on this angle, look at this angle.
That's normal contact in a game of football. It will not get you a penalty at all. Write this down, Gilbert. Please write also. Denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. That one does not apply there.
Yeah, I think that's my opinion.
It's all right. Yes, it's okay.
My opinion.
The referee wants this to be restarted. And he's wondering why Frimpong Mensah started it too early. It's going to be redone. Probably it's going to be passed for him. Oh, something happened on the front there. Oh, Mr. Tasema, just make sure there is enough space between the two. That's what Libra was arguing about. You wanted the ball given to them, and then they can give it back in a sportsmanship gesture. Now they started again. Initially, some very quick action that had gone on the other side. Gabriel Michael directly to Mr. Ajayi. It's not going to be working that way. They need to build it up better in front of God, don't give a
Yeah, they're in a hurry. They're getting into the final third. But in the final third, you need numbers. If you can't be able to bring in the correct cross, then you need somebody closer to you to at least play one, two, quick movements off the ball.
Back into the midfield. Walled it. And Trinidad Guksa, who has lost his footing. This was already off the field of play. It was going to be a throw-in anyway, so Guksa didn't need to get involved in that. I think there's some tired legs as well coming from Guksa. Yeah, it looks. It's been running and kicking and jumping for 57 minutes, so it's not very easy. In these conditions, 57 minutes of running could be equivalent to about 77 minutes or even more. Could even be for double, because you're using double the energy to run onto that. But Leo cuts it back for a 45. A touch, but almost left it in that penalty area. Trinidad still brought down here. And, not a very happy defender here for the St. John side. Yes, Tesfaye wondering why that should have been a foul. He doesn't seem like he's holding on to Trinidad. Actually, almost,
yes,
almost lifting him up.
Yeah, is dragging him down, and Trinidad has really run himself out. I think they need to move the ball away from him just to give him time to be able to recuperate.
And a go big. He shielded off the ball, and then he'll be penalized for a foul on Haida Sharifa. It's going to be a free kick for St. George. In as much as St. George is getting the position, them running up at the front, they really are not getting the right kind of touches up at the front. But Wolayita Dicha is equally not getting the ball out of their own half now, and that's a worry, because if you have the ball being played in your half lots of times, there is the obvious higher percentage chance that you might concede a goal. It's hard to get it from the midfield to Sitiehu as well. Kenya Marta brings it back to the midfield. Haida Sharifa, long ball for Abel Yaleo. He just doesn't keep it in play. And it's a good thing that Ajayi cuts out that angle totally to make it impossible for Abel.
Absolutely, and those are the kind of diagonal passes that I was talking about in the beginning of the second half. That's a good pass right from the left-hand side by none other than Haida Sharifa, just trying to find Abel Yaleo, but again, the ball just moving too fast for him.
Well, the bench was expecting the best at that time. Fadi Matasi is on that bench as well. A good number of other players, Lambert Hanu, Natnal Zaleke, Itacho, Araya, all were expecting a little bit more than what they got. in that instance. But they're going to have to wait for another one to be able to get anything positive for them. So this is back into the midfield. And now Sintaye, who is taking off, got in the better of one defender, the application and the rush for it as well. Just overrides everything else that he was trying to do.
He knows he should have done better. That's a good pass from Didier Libre. And with the 1-against-1, I think Sintaye should have done a little bit better. He was hesitant to take the shot, and he doesn't make good use of the pass.
Yeah. Seems apologetic. He knows that he's lost a chance there. But he was also gunning to try and put the team further ahead. They're looking for the chances, and every time it's coming, it's just one, so they might as well use it. Another attempt here, shot by Saladin Said. Good through ball down to Didier Libre. He's got only Kadunya here. And he's already in the box. It's going to be a very easy one here now. It's not going to get anything for that. Adunya will just have cleared that ball for a corner. And
it's a good run again.
It's a good run, yes. But if you were talking about a chance, I shared that Gooks thinking about it. If you were talking about a chance the other time for a penalty, then this would have been even more of a chance than the other, because it clears the ball here.
Clears the ball.
But there's still that contact. That's accepted in a game of football. Yeah, Cheredad Goose takes up very quickly. Second time that he's gotten into that box, just doesn't cut the ball back on time. But then again, all the time he goes onto that side, he's being boxed into a corner. The angle, very narrowed there. Only 3 corners in this game. It just tells you everybody has been trying to win it right in the center of the field. And the defenders have been careful to bring it out. It's a long, well-floated one, punched out by Baru Negash. The attempt to get it up at the front. Emmanuel Gabriel doesn't have everybody up at the front. Now they're coming in to join. Abel Yaleo. Tackle out. And a very good tackle by Didier.
Very good recovery.
As they try again to bring it from the right side, they cross this time round into the hands of Ajay. That will not work for the St. George side. They're laboring to find a way to go in. Libre just executes that tackle and moves away from there as if nothing happened. This is going to be a throw, it says the assistant. It's very desperate moments at the moment. Everybody's calling for, something else other than what the referee should be giving. You know that man there? Birhanu?
That should be careful.
And the goalkeeper there.
And Patrick
Matasi, the other goalkeeper as well, is on the bench there. Yeah. Birhanu. Manuel Chafu would have been looking for his chance there to get into this game. Yeah, tough times playing in this kind of conditions. Very difficult conditions.
It's difficult conditions.
Everybody leaves this one to roll all the way to the goalkeeper, who then easily picks it up. We'll start to build up for the side. Back into the midfield. That's Sanet Ebremedin. Gives it to the man in the middle. Walde gets onto it. And Libre then tries to get it up in front of the goalkeeper. And goalkeeper just make sure that he cuts it out for the corner. It's going to be for the Wolayita Dicha side. Well, they don't seem to be in a hurry, and that will not be a very good sign, because it will mean that they're getting content with whatever they have at the moment. And there's so much time in this game.
There's so much time. I think the referee has stopped his clock. However slow they move, he has realized that Wolayita is really, really not in a hurry. And
it doesn't matter. It will be added on to the added time later on. So it's going to take a corner. It's going to be Nagao who's taking the corner. Floats it into the area. Well, it doesn't even float it. It's just a very low and very easily cut off by the captain of the St. George side. And Saladin Said just make sure it goes out for a throw in. So, and Agabadeg is not in a hurry to take that throw in as well. So for that, he gets yellow carded because he had already taken. It's Yara Dawit. I mean, he had already taken time to go and take the corner on the other side. So he runs away from the throw-in. Yeah, I doubt it.
It was just a matter of time when he was going to get his yellow.
He doesn't want to take the responsibility. There's a way of trying to take off time from the clock. And yeah, I doubt it. I beg your pardon. It's yellow carded for no reason at all. So just runs away from responsibility then. It's going to go out of the field of play. It's going to be another throw-in. And we're going to have to contend with that kind of play at the moment. Not very well creatively done in the midfield. Not very well done up at the front as well.
I think St. George have lacked creativity in the midfield. Two things that they've done wrong. The passes that they're giving are getting closer to the goalkeeper. If they're not getting closer to the goalkeeper, they are not precise passes to a certain individual. So that's the reason why they've really not made a mark in the forward line.
Adunya. Intentional big clearance coming in from Ante Gupta. And he got a big clearance from this other side. I mean, testing out. And here is Libre. Didier, that is going to be a penalty. Now that is an obvious goal scoring opportunity. He's facing the goal. He has possession of the ball as well. And he's tackled from behind, being denied an obvious goal scoring opportunity. That has no question at all. It's going to be given as a penalty to the Wolayita Dicha side. Frimpong might argue his case. He's facing goal. He's got possession. He's in the box. He's tackled unfairly from behind. He loses control.
Absolutely.
And loses the ball.
Absolutely.
Now there is absolutely no argument.
Yeah, absolutely. The timing of the run, the pass, and the takeoff by Libre was absolutely in sync.
Well, Frimpong managed to rule that time, but he did that. He thought he was going to take one for the team and was hoping that it was just going to go unnoticed. But they're going to give the responsibility to Sintayo Mengistu. The man who scored the highest number of goals on the side. He has 8 so far, including the one he scored in the 15th minute. But that's instructions coming from Bemlak Tesema in a language that Baru Negash can understand very well. He's telling him, if you get off the line, you're going to be in trouble. And the yellow card is not too far off if you try anything that is not in the books. Well, I only had the yellow card. But you can imagine there's nothing else. It could be told it's not in a very comfortable position, even for the taker, because the ground is soggy where the ball is placed. But Sintayehu and Baru Negash. Sintayehu was put it in the net. A second goal for Sintayehu. Oh, he can afford a backflip as well. So we might as well assume that Sintayehu is almost back to full fitness. A penalty shot in the 67th minute changes the scoreline in favor of the Wolayita Dicha side. And I tell you right now, wherever Fasil is, the team, and wherever Fasil is, the location as well, if they're watching this, they're probably now beginning a celebration, because it was a very simple mathematics. If Fasil win another match, they already will be declared champion. Or if St. George and Ethiopia Buna lose one match, then they are going to be declared champions. So they first of all will be celebrating because St. George look like they're on the losing track. Then we'll wait to see the next game as well. Wolayita 2, St. George 0. But this game is not yet over. There's still about 22 minutes of play remaining. It's a lot of time in a game of football. St. George busy protesting, thinking there's a handball here, while the rest of the men are already moving forward to go into the attack. Yeah, this is what they're very used to. Everybody is giving his opinion of what he thinks about what he thinks was an handball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different opinions of why that should be a handball.
And this is an international referee that they're dealing with. And there's also a very good first assistant in Daniel Zelek on the right-hand side.
Here it is again. And it bounces off. It's chested off. There was a chance a second one in which they were claiming it could have been a handball. Yeah, that has been put onto the side.
Absolutely.
If this was on a VR situation, then that would probably have been given. When you look at it the second time, you see it. Here is a chance for a goal in a classic one for that matter. That comes from Abel Yaneu.
rekindling a little hope that St. George can probably come back into this game. A nice bicycle kick in front of all the defenders, no one marking him. And Abel Yaleo with some good precision as well. Puts the ball in the net. Well, there's a lot you can say about it as well. They could have been offside, the three of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. There are three players in an offside position.
So
three of them.
Yeah, they should not be complaining then. The mistakes do happen, and the assistant put the flag down in that situation. Here is another shot coming from a big man, Panovka Torch wants to test Barudega. Scoreline has changed again. Wolayita 2 and St. George 1.
It just happened so fast, man.
Yeah, that's why we said there's a lot of time in this game of football.
It happened so fast.
This is going to be a corner. Well, now they know the Wolayita Dicha side. If they have any chance, they should hurry up to try and go and take it. And not do it early, because then they get unnecessary cards and there's still a chance for them to be able to score a goal if they want to. Or on the other hand as well, they could just be the ones that are getting penalized with it. Here is a chance from the right side. Gugsa. It goes off the field of play. Oh, it's going to be the Wolayita side. Looks like a double substitution on the other side of the field. And Manuel Cabra-Mikael is the first one to go out. His place is taken by Dagmari Araya. Very first game he's playing of the season for the St. George side. I think there's another man who's also on the side. Should be Ebol and coming in for Kenya and Markney. The juniors and youngsters given a chance. The coach said in the pre-match interview that he's going to give a chance to the youngsters today. I think that's the first two of the youngsters that we have seen, Gilbert.
Yeah, I think the first time they're seeing the Gmawi Araya, but I think Abel Endal has been involved in the game for 390 minutes. So just rejigging the forward line, the midfield, and also the forward line.
It's going to go into the left side. Big clearance coming off that one. They've also made a substitution on the Wolayita side. Looks like Sekai Birhanu is in the game. And this is Chernet Gugsa. Getting a good ball to Sitayoma, and Gistu is offside again. It's going to be a free kick for the side. Very well caught there. By the second assistant, Mr. Mustafa Meki. The water break, I believe, is what the whistle has gone for. Frimpong Mensu will rue the time in which he tackled the Ivorian. Here is another one. They could have been offside.
Three of them are in offside position.
Yeah, even from that header, three men were in the offside.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and obviously very, very hands up there on the Wolayita Dicha side to protest that one. It's not anything about balancing. It's just that two occasions in which both sides have claimed they feel unfairly treated there. And so it means that they can go off with it now. So much of the action going on to the St. George side. Wolayita looks like they're raiding, but less on this other side, Gilbert.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Wolayita actually raiding there. I mean, they've really not had much going into the St. George side, apart from those quick busts that we've seen in the last few minutes of the game. St. George, I think they've realized that they need to...
Yeah, this is the one they were protesting against here. You know, Tegu Tebebe is trying to clear ball, and then he pulls the ball to himself. I mean, on the second look, you know that it's a handball. It is. They really protested it. Dunya, the one who was bringing in the cross. And this one also being taken on a bicycle kick by Abel Yaleo. Goes into the net, but could have been ruled offside as well. So, two incidences that will be very debated on in this game, but which are providing the length and the width with which to play the game. But the
Bebe flips it again. It's played very dangerously now. That's not the kind of flip you give to your goalkeeper. That, I think, was intended to just block the ball, and then it bounces off his head and goes to his own goal area. Jai was just a little bit too keen on it, onto it. Maybe a lot of pushing and shoving here, because it's a half a chance for a leveling goal for the St. George side. One of the youngsters with the new fresh legs onto the field, trying to get onto it. Sheridan has given his all in this game for the Wolayita Dicha side. Really worked hard at the front. He's really worked hard in the midfield as well. Has been dashing back into defense as well to push. Oh no, that torch changed it onto the right side. Long ball to Tekai Birhan, who cuts it back to get a corner for his troubles. It cut off by Mensu. It's now becoming a question of who blinks when the ball is coming in their direction.
Absolutely, looking for a superstar in this game.
And they're all avoiding the muddy parts of the field. They're playing on the flanks, where things are being done much better than on this patch. It's a corner for Wolayita Dicha. 2 goals to their credit. Is the man who's been twice on the neck. Sheridan Guksa brings in the corner. And a very good hanging header that just didn't go into the net, coming from one the tallest man who was in that area. And Panos torch. For accuracy.
That's good delivery by Sheridan Guksa. Takes Panon Gatwatch. He wants to get the far post. Again, he just doesn't hit the ball correctly. He knows he should have put the ball in the net.
Oh, misses to connect, but not accurately. It goes back in. The midfield. St. George will be looking for a chance to come out of it. The faster they can do that, the better for them as well. I'm looking at trying to get 3 points out of this game. Walde will go for it. And man has been very quiet in this game. Saladin Said for St. George suddenly comes into the scene as well. Galbadeg pushes it forward. St. George are camping on the Wolayita Dicha half. They should be wary of being hit on the counter-attack, because Dicha has tried to get them on that very many times. Go to the left side with a shot. Very well done. Too hard. Too high up as well. We'll get nothing for that as well. They're trying to build and get as close as they can to the goal area.
Yeah, they're trying to load. They're putting a lot of pressure, and that's the previous header by Panon Gatwatch, just missing the target when he was all alone with the keeper to beat. And of course, very, very defensive moments for the St. George players on the bench.
This is an attempt to bring it onto the right side and to build right into the box. And Tene sends it out. It's a guy who doesn't get onto it. It's going to be a throw-in with St. George against it, pushing here. Dunya. It's a big risk they're taking, the St. George side. Just pushing everybody into the other half and then leaving no one else on this other side. The Wolayita side is very cognizant of the fact that they can't play any good football in the midfield, so they are lumping it forward, especially on the flanks. And Sheridan Guksa has just mastered a way of getting all the energy that he can get into the runs. Mensu now knows he's got to keep a close eye on him.
and probably stop him by all means possible. It's going to go out for a throw in. Going to be for Wolayita Dicha. Who benefits from this, Gilbert? If the Wolayita Dicha slow down this game, will they get the better of St. George, or will St. George then fit into that kind of plan and it work best for them?
Well, I think if Wolayita, comes down the game, then it will not be of benefit to St. George, because St. George want Wolayita to hurry themselves out so that they can make mistakes for St. George to be able at least to capitalize on.
Well, back into the midfield with the St. George side again on position. All day to Mengistu and to Sikai Birhanu, who's on the left side. He's made it obvious that he's looking for support. Sends a very long one that can't be of any benefit to Walden. Yeah, Spacey could have decided to dribble a little bit to get into that position, to a better position. Guy. Casual chip onto the right side for Terinet Gugsa.
They're not bringing too many men up at the front of the Wolayita Dicha side. Sheridan managed to run all the way by himself and takes a shot that forces Baru Degash into a save. It's really tormenting Baru because all the time he's trying to come in right next to Baru to take the shot from there.
I mean, it's very evident that Terinet Gugsa has been running the 100 meters when as a young man, because the way he accelerates and brings in those crosses is just a marvel to watch.
It's going to come from a corner. Touch Padam and the big men are all going to join that.
Ooh, this one just hits onto Sintayewu Mengistu. He thought it was going to be clear there. And I think it banged on Sintayewu Mengistu. Unless there was a second touch on it, I think the first touch was categorically on Sintayewu. Could there have been any other touch on that one?
Maybe from Mensa.
Mensu. Earlier on.
Yeah.
Probably earlier on.
Yeah.
A second quarter then.
No one looked like he expected that ball in that position.
Yablek to Seba staying his ground. The defenders now knowing that it could take any touch on anyone to send that ball into the net. Terinet Gugsa will take it again. 7. Corners for Wolayita Dicha. Only 2 for St. George. Another very well floated one. This one a better clearance. And now a good run. The young man on the bench there, together with the very experienced goalkeeper Patrick Matasi, are watching. Their challenge for the second position. Going down the mud, if you'd like, literally. Unless they can quickly pull something back here. Aida Sharefa has put in a very good day's work for the side with the very hard runs that he has made in the midfield. He's able. Oh, that he has lost it. Sekai Birhanus. That's a very good run. And then tries the switch play. There's 2 men who are going for it. Sintayewu Mengistu
as well as Cherinet Sintayo Birhanu now. It's a guy, sends a very direct one to the goalkeeper. It's not going to trouble him that way.
The Wolayita Dicha is really working themselves well, especially when they're getting into the final third. Very good crosses coming on the right-hand side. And they are very sparring in the way they're approaching the game. They defend very well and wait for the right moment to be able to channel their passes.
A very long one from Ajay. And all the way back to Barunegash. Egudebebe sends it back. This is going to come back into the midfield. 300 complete passes for the St. George side. It's the highest number of passes that we have seen so far. And 115 incomplete, so that's 445, probably more than that, passes that have been attempted by the St. George side. 72% pass completion is what you will get as a
ወላይታ ዲቻ አሸናፊነት ተጠናቋል። በጨዋታው በርካታ የሚያነጋግሩ ጉዳዮችን ተመልክተን ጨርሰናል። የፍጹም ቅጣት ጨርሰናል። የፍጹም ቅጣት ምት ጥያቄዎች እንዲሁም ደግሞ ከጨዋታ ውጪ የሚመስል የተቆጠረ ጎል በሁለቱም በኩል የተመለከትነው በሁለቱም የሜዳ ክፍሎች ውስጥ ያየነው የዳኝነት ውሳኔ ነበር። ከዛ ውጭ ሁለቱም ቡድኖች ለመጫወት የፈለጉትን ኳስ እንዳይጫወቱ ደግሞ የሜዳው እንቅስቃሴ ትንሽ አስቸጋሪ ነበረ። ከጨዋታው በኋላ ከአሰልጣኝ ዳዊት ሀብታሙ ጋር ቆይታ ማድረግ ይሆናል። ጨዋታውን ስትጀምሮ የሰጡ አስተያየት ነበረ። በቁጥር አማካኝ ክፍል ላይ በስተን የጨዋታውን እንቅስቃሴ ለመቆጣጠር እንሞክራለን ብለህ ነበርና ያን እንደፈለግከው አድርገዋል? ያሰብከውን አሳክተዋል?
አዎ አስበን የገባነውን ከሞላ ጎደል አሳክተናል። ያው እንዳናሳካ አደረግን። ያው የሜዳው መጨቄት አንዳንድ የሀሳብ ለውጦችን ተጫዋቾች እንዲያደርጉ አድርጓል። ያው እይታቸው እና ፖዚሽናቸው የአጥቂዎቹ ጥሩ ፖዚሽን ላይ ስለነበር ነው ያው ረጅም ኳስ ተጠቅመን ወደ ጎል ለመሄድ የሞከርነው። እንደ ሜዳው ባህሪ እና ይዘን እንደመጣ ነው ባህሪም ተጫውተናል። ለመሄድ ስንል የዛሬን ጨዋታ አሸንፈን መሄድ እንዳለብን ተነጋግረን አሸንፈናል። ያው ልጆቻችንም ለፍተዋል። አሸንፈን መሄድ ፈልገን ነበር። ያው ፍጻሜ አምሮልን ደስተኞች ነን።
እንኳን ደስ አለ። እንግዲህ ቀደም ሲል አሰልጣኝ ዳዊት ሀብታሙ ምክትል አሰልጣኝ የወላይታ ዲቻ ምክትል አሰልጣኝ ከሱፐር ስፖርት ጋር ያደረገውን ቆይታ ነው የተከታተላችሁት። ቁጥሮችን ስንመለከት ወደ 24 የሚጠጉ የግብ ሙከራዎች የተደረጉበት ጨዋታ ነበረ። 8 ኢላማቸውን የጠበቁ ሙከራዎችን ወላይታ ዲቻዎች አድርገዋል። 4 ኢላማቸውን የጠበቁ ሙከራዎች ደግሞ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊሶች አከናውነው ነበረ። ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በቁጥር በርካታ የሚባሉ የግብ ሙከራዎችን ቢያደርግም እንግዲህ አንድ ጎል ብቻ ነው ማስቆጠር የቻለው። በጨዋታው እንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ እንግዲህ 52 ከመቶ የኳስ ቁጥጥር መሀል ክፍል ላይ ነበረ። 30 ከመቶ በወላይታ ዲቻ ሜዳ ላይ የነበረውን እንቅስቃሴ ነው የተመለከታችሁት። ከአሰልጣኝ ፍራንክ ናተል ጋር ማድረገው ቆይታ ይቀጥላል። ቴንክ ኮች. Conceding an early goal, does it make your game very difficult to start?
I thought we started well prior to the goal.
Yeah.
And, you know, we get in a situation where we become 1-0 down, which obviously when you're 1-0 down, it's more a difficult situation. But our motivation was there. And we worked extremely hard to try to get back into the game.
There was a penalty call in Wolayita Dicha's box, and you ask the referee about that incident. What do you say about it?
I've got nothing to say about it.
The penalty call.
I've got nothing to say about it.
Okay. Did the field make you difficult to play in this game?
It's I think for both teams, as everyone can see, the weather conditions make it difficult for both sides.
Thank you, coach.
Thank you.
እንግዲህ ቀደም ሲል አሰልጣኝ ፍራንክ ናተል ከንግግራቸው እንደምትረዱት በጣም እንደተበሳጩ ያስታውቃል። ያው 2-1 በሆነ ውጤት ተሸንፈዋል። ምላሻቸውም ያው ይሄን ነው የሚያሳየው። በጥያቄ ውስጥ ያነሷቸውን ሐሳቦች በደንብ ለማስፋት እንሞክራለን። የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ የአሰልጣኞች ስታፍ ፔናልቲውን ጥያቄ በሰፊው ያነሱ ነበር። ፍራንክ ናታል ጨምሮ ማለት ነው። ምንም እንኳን እሳቸው አላነሳውም ቢሉም ማለት ነው።
በሁለተኛው አጋማሽ መኳንንት ብዙ
ምን አይነት ውሳኔ ነው ማለት እንችላለን? ከዛ ብንጀምር
በሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ብዙ የዳኝነት ውሳኔዎች ነበሩ የሚያነጋግሩ። ለምሳሌ ቸርነት ይብሳ በሄኖክ ተጠልፎ በአምላክ ያን የተውበት፣ ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ ፍሪምፖንግ የሊብሪ ካመለጠ በኋላ ከኋላ ገብቶት ፔናልቲ ተጥበት፣ በኋላ ላይ ደጉ ደበበ በእጁ የነካበትና እንደገና ኦፍሳይድ የሚመስል በጣም ፒውር ግልጽ የሆነ ኦፍሳይድ ጎል የተቆጠረበት አቤል። እነዚህ ሁሉ ሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ይበልጥ ከዳኝነቱ ጋር ኢቨንትፉል ወይም በጣም የትኩረት ማዕከል በሙሉ አርቢትሮችና የመስመርና የመሃል ዳኛ የነበሩበት ሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ነበር።
እስኪ የጨዋታውን እንቅስቃሴና በጨዋታው ላይ የተፈጠሩ የጎል ማግባት ጎሎችን እንመልከት። ስለዚህ እንቅስቃሴ እናውራ።
የስንታየሁ ዛሬ የጨዋታው ኮከብ ነው በኔ መልከታ። የተጫዋች በሊንክ አፕ ላይ በጣም ጥሩ ነው። አሁን እንደምንመለከተው ከቡድን ጓደኞቹ ጋር በሊንክ ተጫውቶ ከቸርነት ጊዜውን በከፋስ የሮጠበት ክፍተት ያየበት አንግል በጣም አስገራሚ ነው። ከቸርነት የተቀበለውን ኳስ በግሩም ሁኔታ ጎል ስፖርት ገባቂ ባህሩ ምን ያረጋታ አይችልም። የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ዲፌንሲቭ ኦርጋናይዜሽን ከተመለከተው ግን በጣም የሚያስገርም ነው። 5 ተጫዋቾች ናቸው። 5 ከ2 ጋር የነበረው ቸርነት ከስንታየሁ እንደዚህ ደግሞ 5 ሌሎች የጊዮርጊስ ተጫዋቾች በዚህ መሃል አምልጦ ነው ጎል ማስቆጠር የቻለውና በጣም ዲዘርቭ የሚያደርግ የመጀመሪያው ጎል ወላይታ ዲቻዎች አቆጥሮ የነበረው።
ከእንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ እንግዲህ ወላይታ ዲቻ የፔናልቲ ጥያቄ ጠይቆ ያገኘበት ነበር። ከዛ በፊት የፔናልቲ ጥያቄ ነበረ። ስንታየሁ መንግስቱ ያስቆጠረበት መንገድ በጣም እርጋታው ይገርማል።
በተመሳሳይ በሁለተኛው ግማሽ በነገራችን ላይ በጣም በተደጋጋሚ ነው ወላይታ ዲቻዎች በመልሶ ማጥቃት እንደተለመደው የተጫወቱት። ዲዲዬ ብሬ በዚህ ቡድን ውስጥ ዛሬ በመከላከል የቡድን የፉልባክ ከጀርባ ያለው ፉልባክ ከማገዝ በተጨማሪ በመልሶ ማጥቃት በጣም በሚገርም ፍጥነት ነው ወደ ጎል የደረሰውና ፍሬምፖንግ ሜሱ ከኋላ በሚታይ ሁኔታ ያልተመጣጠነ ኃይል ተጠቅሟል። ስለዚህ በአምላክ ተሰማ ያሳልፉት ውሳኔ በእኔ እይታ ትክክል ይመስለኛል።
ሜዳ ውስጥ ከነበሩ ውሳኔዎች መካከል አንዱ ትክክለኛ ውሳኔ ይሄ ነበር። የፍጹም ቅጣት ምቱን እንግዲህ ስንታየሁ መንግስቱ ተረጋግቶ ነው ያስቆጠረው። ስንታየሁ መንግስቱ 9 ጨዋታ አልተጫወተም እያል ነበረ። በዘንድሮ የውድድር ዓመት ግን ያልተጫወተባቸውን ጨዋታዎች ያክል ጎል አስቆጥሯል።
የተጫዋቹ በወላይታ ዲቻ ሁሉ ነገር እንደሆነ ተመልክተናል። ከዚህ ቀደም አላዛር ፋሲካ የተባለ አጥቂ ነበራቸው። ረጅም ጊዜ ቡድን ያገለገለ ምናልባት ይሄ ልጅ ያንን ተጫዋች የሚያስታውስ ይመስለኛል። ወላይታ ዲቻ ጎሎችን ያስቆጥራል። ወላይታ ዲቻ ከማጥቃት ጎል ከማግባትም በላይ ለቡድኑ ትልቅ ጥቅም የሚሰጥ ተጫዋች እንደሆነ ተመልክቻለሁና በጣም ጥሩ ኳሊቲ ያለው ተጫዋች ነውና በተለይ ሊንክ አፕ ፕሌው በጣም ግሩም ነው ማለት ይቻላል።
ወደ ሌላኛው የጨዋታ ኳስ ነክቶ ነበር። ከዛ በኋላ የመሃል ዳኛው በአምላክ ተሰማ ይሄን እንቅስቃሴ በደንብ አልተመለከቱትም። ሁለተኛው ተቹ ነው በነገራችን
ሄኖክ አዱኛ ወደ አደጋ ክልል ጣለ። ኳሱ መቆጣጠር አልቻለም። ደጉ መጀመሪያ ላይ እግሩ ኳሱ ታፋው ላይ ያረፈ ነው የሚመስለው። ከዛ ድጋሚ ኳሱ ተገኘ። እዚህ ጋር ፔናልቲ እዚህ ጋር ነበር የሚመስለው። ይሄ አይደለም። ኳሱ እንደገና ማውጣት አልቻለም። ነጠረ። አሁን በጫና ውስጥ ሊከተው ሌላ አማኑኤል መጣ። አሁን ደጉ እዚህ ጋር እጁ ተፈጥሯዊ ቦታ ነው
ግልጽ የሚያደርገው ኳሱ ቢያልፍ ኖሮ አማኑኤል ሊያገኝበት የሚችለው እድል ከፍተኛ
እጁ ተፈጥሯዊ ቦታ ነው አይደለም የሚለውን ካነሳ ምናልባት ተፈጥሯዊ ቦታ አይመስለኝም። የግብ ጠባቂ አይነት ብሎክ ነው ያደረገውና ምናልባት በአምላክ ባያው እንኳን ለመስመር ዳኛው እጅግ በጣም ቅርብ የነበረ ይመስለኛልና ይሄኛው አጋጣሚ ምናልባት በእይታ ፔናልቲ መውሰድ የነበረባቸው
አሰልጣኝ ፍራንክ ናታል በጣም የተበሳጩበት ኢንሲደንት ነበር። ይሄ
በጣም የኮንሲስተንሲ ጉዳይ ወደ አርቢትሮች ወጥ የሆነ ውሳኔዎችን ማሳለፍ አለባቸው ከሚል አንፃር ይመስለኛል ያሰልጣኙ ብስጭት።
እስኪ ወደ ሌላው የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴ ደግሞ እንሂድ። በዛሬው የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ በነገራችን ላይ የሜዳው ጭቃ መሆን ብቻ አይደለም ድራማው፣ ሌሎችም የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴዎች ድራማ ነበሩ። ይሄ ከጨዋታ ውጪ የሚመስል አይነት እንቅስቃሴ
ነው ከሚመስል ሳይሆን ከጨዋታ ውጪ ነው መኳንንት። ይሄን ኳስ አሁን ከቀኝ መስመር ተሻማ አማኑኤል ለካው አቤል ይሄን ኳስ በመቀስመት ሲያስቆጥረው 2 እና 3 ሜትር ከኦፍሳይድ ከጨዋታ ውጪ ነበርና የመስመር ዳኛው የሚገርምህ ደግሞ ከአቤል ኳሱ ሲያስቆጥር በአቤል ትክክል ቲም ነበር የሚገኙት የመስመር ዳኛውና በግልጽ የሚታይ ነው
ያስቆጠረበት መንገድ ይገርማል።
ግን ተጫዋቾች ብቻ ሳይሆን በነገራችን ላይ አርቢትሮች ራሱ የጨዋታ ላይ ሙሉ ትኩረት ሊኖራቸው ይገባል። አሁን የፔናልቲ ኢንሲደንት ጭቅጭቅ ነበር። ከዛ በኋላ ከዛ ጭቅጭቅ መልስ ነው ጎል የተቆጠረውና የትኩረታቸውን ባጡበት አጋጣሚ ይመስለኛል አቤል ይሄንን ኳስ ከመረብ ያሳረፈው።
እንግዲህ የደረጃ ሰንጠረዡን ስንመለከት ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ወደ ሁለተኛነት ደረጃ ላይ ለመጠጋት የሚያደርገውን ሂደት ሳይጠቀምበት ቀርቷል። 4ኛ ደረጃ ላይ ተቀምጧል።
ዳሜጂንግ ወይም ደግሞ ለቡድኑ በጣም ጉዳት የሚያደርስ ሽንፈት ይመስለኛል። ድሬዳዋ ዓመት አንድ ጨዋታ ነው ማሸነፍ የቻሉ ከሰበታ ጋር ተጫውተዋል። ጊዮርጊስን እንደዚሁ ማሸነፍ ችሏል። አመርቂ ውጤት አይደለም ያስመዘገቡት። ይሄ ደግሞ ሁለተኛ ለመውጣት ለሚወዳደር ቡድን በጣም ጥሩ ፐርፎርማንስ አይደለም።
4 አቻ በጣም ከባድ ነው። በ5 ተከታታይ ጨዋታዎች ውስጥ ይሄኛው 6ኛው ጨዋታ ደግሞ ሽንፈት ሆኗል ለቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ። እንግዲህ የምሽቱ ጨዋታና በፕሪሚየር ሊጉ የድሬዳዋ ቆይታችን የመጨረሻው የሚሆነው ዛሬ የሚከናወነው ጂማ አባጅፋር ከኢትዮጵያ ቡና ጋር የሚያደርጉት
on Getanik Ebede. And I worry about Alex Amusi. And I said this before, and I hope it's not gonna
backfire at some point, but he goes in just a little bit too hard. The coach, Kidane Mariam, knows that he needs the points out of this match, but he also needs his men. And one of his key men now is Alex Amusa. So Alex has got to watch out how he's approaching the tackles that he's going into for his own safety. So it's back into the possession of the Jima, but the front side. Impom Mensu, one of the fleet-footed defenders, and today